Uhuru Kenyatta is set to leave at the end of next year, and he was sitting there, and Museveni has been in power since 1986, 35 years to the count, and he's sitting there and he knows he has to leave in 1 year. And Museveni will still have 4 more years after him. President Moi went, we had President Kibaki, now President Uhuru Kenyatta. As you sit here, I want you to read into the mind of the president, sitting there and watching President Museveni taking the Bible for the 6th time.
Thank you, Ken. And my first disclaimer is that I never purport to speak on behalf of the president. I can't read his mind. But I know he's a stickler for the rule of law in our country as per our constitution. For President Museveni, I think they do not have a term limit in Uganda. Maybe in their wisdom, they thought that he has something to contribute to Uganda for as long as... And remember the history of Uganda and where they're coming from. I've been on record before talking about the need sometimes in African situations to have a strong man who has a vision, who can instill law and order and discipline, and that can only happen over time.
Okay.
Now, with our president, and there has been precedents which have been set since the late President Moi did his last 2 terms in office after having served continuously for 24 years. Former President Kibaki also respected the term limit in Kenya. President Uhuru has said he will respect the term limit.
Okay.
Because for him, we have to set the standard for African leadership. Remember, our constitution is broadly based on the American Constitution, which has the 2-term limits for sitting president, unlike in the UK, for example, and most of Europe, where they have parliamentary systems. You are in office for as long as the people continue electing you.
To vote for you. But the concern with this question, Vice Chair, is it has been said, we know there are a number of leaders in this country who have said, for example, President Uhuru Kenyatta is too young, right? I know he has said he will leave at the end of his term. But then there is also the notion that the positions that are being created might favor him, you know? So that's the reason why this question is important.
I don't think so, because look at President Obama. How old was he when he left office? I think Obama and Uhuru are basically like age mates. He's been out there.
Totally different jurisdictions.
I agree, but like I told you, we have modeled our constitution around the American Constitution.
All right.
The presidential system.
So as it stands, President Uhuru Kenyatta will leave at the end of his term?
He will leave at the end of his term. Okay. For some of us, we would have wished that he could have stayed a bit longer. We could have done a Putin, for example, how they do it in Russia. He's president, then he becomes prime minister.
Then it's flipped.
And then flips again.
You know, that's a wish that cannot come true.
It can't happen because, for example, do you actually expect Uhuru, under this new dispensation, to run for a member of parliament for Gatundu South?
In order to be a prime minister?
Or Musalia Mudavadi, for that matter.
Okay.
Because the only 2 seats where you will not require politicians to run for office is the president and the deputy president. And the law does not allow the president to run for president, does not allow the deputy president to run for deputy president again.
Okay. The law is silent on that. I don't know the section of the law.
Silent.
Where does it say the deputy president
can run for president?
Yes.
He can run for prime minister as a member of parliament, but he cannot run as deputy president for more than 2 terms.
Oh yeah, as deputy president.
It is a
he
pair.
can only run for president.
The presidency under the current constitution is a pair.
Yeah, that's clear.
That's clear.
Let's now talk about what's happening in the Jubilee Party. Isaac Mwaura is gone. At least he's going to fight as an